How's it going, everyone? I'm the Zabin, and thank you so much for hopping on in. Today's video really is kind of interesting, if I'm gonna be honest. We're not really talking about like a challenge. It's more of like a what-if scenario, right? Apparently, this has been going around for like 2 years, so I'm kind of late to the event, but basically, it is a like Pokemon what-if scenario going by the name of the hashtag at least, but it's going by wants to journey. So Pokemon wants to journey, and basically it's like a what if scenario of if you were in the world of Pokemon, right? I think they say in the anime, but I think it's kind of a collaboration of basically almost all of the Pokemon content, meaning the anime, the video games, hell, maybe even the card games, right? If there's any lore in the card games, I'm sure there's something you can add in there. So basically, if you were in the world of Pokemon with your knowledge from the games to the show, how would you go about? What would be, these different things that you would do? What's your goals and etc. So of course we're gonna go through all the questions and I'm gonna answer them along the way. And of course I'm gonna be saving my Pokemon for the very end because I kind of want to go more into depth of kind of why I chose these Pokemon based off of sort of the other activities or the answering to the other questions that were brought up for this what if scenario. So let's just go ahead, let's just get right into it and start off with our first question. So the first question is, what region do you hail from? Now for me personally, it would be the Galar region, and the reason why I chose it really comes from the video games themselves. In fact, and not a lot of people know this, I didn't really grow up with a lot of the Pokemon games. I had the Gen 1 Pokemon game, I had Gen 3, and then I got Gen 4, and then I didn't get back into Pokemon until about Gen 8. And the reason why that big gap sort of happened, like why didn't you play these Pokemon games, was because at the time, I was already in my teen years, and we kind of saw Nintendo as like these kid-like, consoles and games. So I really didn't get into it too much, but I was still, something in me that was like, man, I want to keep it going. So during that time, I believe Pokemon Go released, and I was playing quite a bit of Pokemon Go at the time, and it was really doing something for me. I really loved playing Pokemon Go. I did a lot of it. Then of course eventually the Nintendo Switch comes out. I buy that because of Smash Bros, which was fun. And then eventually I hear that there's Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. I got that, I played it, and it was super nostalgic to play Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. Granted, yeah, the format playing it is really different from the original, but it was still super fun, I enjoyed so much playing it that it was just a blast. And then eventually Pokemon Sword and Shield comes out, and that's when I would argue this mega fan explosion in me just explode, it just went off. I really don't know how to put it into words how I fell in love with Pokemon Sword and Shield, but I literally just did. I bought the Switch myself, and then I bought the Pokemon Shield. I believe I bought that myself as well, and I was really happy and excited to play it. And playing the game, I realized that there's so much to it that I really love. First of all, I love the gimmick of doing Gigantamax. I love that, seeing Pokemon go from not just get bigger, but seeing their form also change. Again, not all the Pokemon had that, where they changed forms, but it was still, even if they didn't have it, it was super cool and interesting to see that. And then of course the layout, the mapping of the Galar region, it's super simple. I like it. It's more or less just like this straight path that you can take. I don't know why I like that so much, but I really do. And the environments in there are really nice. Aside from the, I guess, wild area where you can run around and see Pokemon out and about, what kind of stuck with me is some of the other environments, like the sand area or the dark forest with the glowing mushrooms, right? Like that type of stuff was super interesting to me, and I really like those environments, and that kind of stayed with me a lot, as opposed to some of the other, older Pokemon games that I've played. I can't really remember too much about the environment and where to go and stuff. Granted, if I play it, maybe sure I will remember some of that, but off the top of my head, I really don't remember them as much as the Galar region. And not only that, if I were to be in the world of Pokemon, I would really hope and love that the memories that I've made from playing the game were in the world of anime, just in the world of Pokemon. I cannot tell you how many times, just finding shiny Pokemon, or even better yet, finding a shiny Toxtricity. If you know me, my favorite Pokemon of all time is still and always going to be shiny amped form Toxtricity. And just the day that I caught it, I was just oblivious. I didn't even know it was shiny at the time. Catching it and it being basically my best Pokemon, or my ace Pokemon, that was super amazing. So of course, I would hope that memories like that would stay. Or the time where I'm playing with Stella, right? We're doing raid dens and we're battling against a Kyogre. Kyogre uses Surf and wipes out all of our Pokemon in one move. It was insane. Like, we've never seen anything like that before, and I would hope that every memory that I have made from the games, just on my own and playing it on stream with you guys, I would hope stayed in the world of Pokemon, right? If that wasn't it, then I'd probably go in a different area or something, but there's so much to the Galar region that I would come from that region. So I had to pull out my notebook for this one, because this question is like a two-parter. They go hand in hand. That is, in the world of Pokemon, what is your profession and what is your goal, right? If you have a goal, you have a profession. If you have a profession, you kind of have a goal. So with that said, for me personally, I would still be a content creator. I would still love to be able to, in the world of Pokemon, provide content for you guys. In the IRL current world, I am a content creator and I love doing lots of live streams. And of course, every now and then I put up a video to YouTube. I'm not very good and consistent with that, but I do my best to still provide videos for you guys, whether it be entertainment or informative. That is what I am trying to do. And of course, that in a way, what I've just said, providing entertainment and information, is also a goal of mine in terms of just IRL and in the world of Pokemon. I would love to be able to provide some type of information and entertainment in the world of Pokemon through online means, I guess. And of course, maybe build up a community as well. Maybe we could get like-minded Pokemon fans out there to come together, maybe host some type of event. I think that'd be really epic. And then of course, this is something that I've always wanted to do, and I do it in every Pokemon game, and that is complete the Pokedex. It doesn't matter what region we go to, I want to complete the Pokedex whenever possible, or at least get pretty darn close, right? So that is my goal as a content creator in the world of Pokemon, is to provide you guys with entertainment, information, and complete the Pokedex along the way, because that would be fantastic. So the next question on here is yet another two-parter. That is, who are your rivals and who are your companions? Now, this was a little bit tricky. I couldn't really think of a lot of rivals, but Nojo, which is someone who, the guy who actually told me about this thing, said that you can have friendly rivals. So with that in mind, I only came up with two rivals. That is Nojo himself and Go from the anime. Now, how I came up with them being rivals is similar to the Pokemon game, but at the same time, when it comes to Go, different. So basically with Nojo, like I said, it would be similar to the Pokemon games, where every once in a while, Nojo and I will just battle it out to see how our Pokemon are doing. And that's kind of that, right? Just some friendly battling competition. When it comes to Go, on the other hand, I decided that we would compete by trying to see who could get the most Pokemon completed in the Pokedex. Because I would love to complete the Pokedex and, everywhere I go. So I think it would be super interesting if there was some type of competition there. If every once in a while, maybe we run into Go. He seems like someone who would still be a good friend, but Go would definitely be someone that it would be just fun to be like, hey, I just saw or caught 10 Pokemon today. And, then they could reply like, oh, well, I caught only 9. And you just kind of go back and forth a lot about like who saw or caught the most Pokemon. And I feel like that would just be something that's very different that not a lot of people really do. Of course, we just finished up our rivals, so we have to move over to the companions. Now, companions was a lot easier, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I wrote so many different people's names that I decided to cut it down to about 3, and these are all people that actually come from my live streams. That is Nojo, Stella, and iBelvy. Literally, these 3 people would be my companions. In fact, I mean, they'd be my travel buddies, you know, like similar to Ash with Misty and Brock. This would be like with me with Nojo, Stella, and iBelvy, right? So the reason why I picked them, for one, Nojo is, again, just a really good like battle ready trainer. So it would be, again, aside from just battling with each other, we can try to learn and understand Pokemon in a way that kind of matches battling. So not me just only having Pokemon just because I like them or whatnot, but because also I can teach them this style of fighting, or learn more about that Pokemon in the style of fighting, which I think is super awesome and interesting. Stella would also hop in if you guys have not watched all of our streams, but whenever any game has cooking involved, especially this new one of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Stella always, it doesn't matter what happens, Stella always makes sandwiches. And I feel like if it was the world of Pokemon where in the anime Stella would somehow still continue to do that, it probably wouldn't be the best sandwiches, because if you've seen the streams you may know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, definitely do check it out. But yeah, other than maybe just the interesting sandwiches, Stella would definitely just be a fun companion to have. In a way, it could be similar to maybe like Nurse Joy to an extent. If again you haven't watched the streams, then you should. But Stella has always, if a Pokemon even just so much lost 1 HP, just had a little paper cut, she would always be ready to take them over to the Pokemon Center to heal up, right? So I feel like Stella would just sort of be like that type of role, kind of like caretaker, if you will, but also be like a comedic person on, you know, just an interesting person overall. And then when it comes to iBelvy, I mean, he is a comedic person. He's a funny dude, I'm not gonna lie. So we gotta have somebody like that on the team traveling with us, and he would definitely be that guy. So the last question on the list is actually super easy. There is rules to it, but it was actually super easy for me because really none of it really affected me. That is, what is your Pokemon team? You can have 9 in total, okay? 6 as like your battle ready Pokemon and such, and then 3 that you could swap in and out with. So the only rule they had was to have no legendaries and no mythical Pokemon. You can only have 1 starter Pokemon, and you can have 1 pseudo legendary Pokemon. So for me, it was not hard. In fact, we've already spoke about one of them already, and that is Toxtricity. My Toxtricity would still be Shiny Amped Form Toxtricity. Now, the reason why I picked Toxtricity is because when it comes down to Pokemon battling, great typing, but from our experience with streams and such, and even in the world of Pokemon, I would love for Toxtricity to still forever be my ace Pokemon. And outside of battling, he would definitely be a entertaining Pokemon, if you will. Basically, his whole gimmick is that he strums the things on his chest and it plays basically music, right? That's the whole gimmick of this Pokemon. So I would still love for this Pokemon to not just be my ace, but to also, outside of the battling world, you know, provide entertainment through music. And, you know, I'm a big fan of music. I think a lot of people are a big fan of music. So I would love that. The second Pokemon I would choose is Flygon. Now, the reason why I'm choosing Flygon, in terms of Pokemon battling, if I remember, he's pretty fast, and he learns a wide variety of moves, being a dragon ground type. So he has a good move pool, if you will, right? But outside of battling, and of course he's pretty fast, but outside of battling, I would really want Flygon. He to me, it seems like Flygon would just be this gentle giant, right? Similar to Dragonite. They just look super friendly. So that's kind of a Pokemon I would love to have on a team, like a friendly Pokemon. But also, I would love to be able to be riding around on Flygon, right? If I ever need to fly somewhere or anything like that, I would love to be able to just get on Flygon's back and just fly to my destination, right? Granted, I still will be, walking around and all that stuff, having a little journey, but if anything happened, right, and we needed to fly somewhere, go somewhere quick, I would love for that Pokemon to be Flygon, just because it's just an interesting Pokemon. Like, he just looks super good, and I've just always been a big fan of Flygon, and its design. So second Pokemon would definitely just be Flygon. So the third Pokemon I choose is going to be Ledian. Now, for me personally, I feel like in the world of Pokemon, this would be my low-key ace Pokemon. A Pokemon that you feel like would be super easy to beat, super weak, but yet somehow pulls out some crazy stunt to go ahead and beat like a really strong Pokemon. Like Ledian could somehow do some crazy combo and beat up a Buzzwole or something like that, right? Like, that would be super dope. That's something I would really love for my Ledian to be in terms of the world of Pokemon in in a fighting aspect. But outside of battling, I would love Ledian to sort of be like my companion Pokemon. Basically, the one Pokemon similar to Pikachu and Ash would just always be outside of the Pokeball and would just be helpful doing daily stuff and things like that, right? So that would definitely be how Ledian works in terms of just being on the team. Now, I've thought about it quite a bit. I'm still trying to figure out how it would work, but I would somehow like the lore behind the Pokemon to be, at least how we've met, be that it was a pre-evolution, right? It was a Ledybug that maybe, we found it was in some type of trouble. We come across, we help it out, it wants to stay with us, and from there we just kind of be, been companions, and it of course evolves into a Ledian that now knows like all these crazy things because of our adventure and time together and our friendship. So that would definitely be the third Pokemon. And plus, I'm just a really big sucker for Ledian. I don't know why I love this Pokemon so much. It's just super adorable, and like that just wins me over every time. So Ledian as my third Pokemon. The fourth Pokemon on the list is going to be Alolan Ninetales. Now, the reason why I went with Alolan Ninetales is because I really like the typing of Ice and Fairy. Kind of unique, and of course that really just beats a lot of only really dragon Pokemon. I don't think there's a lot of Pokemon that are really weak to ice. It's not a lot, and the same with Fairy, so they really don't beat too much, but they're kind of there. Right? But the Alolan Ninetales is more so, at least in my eyes, outside of battling where it shines, because I would definitely love to visit snowy areas, right? Snowy mountains or anything like that. And I think Alolan Ninetales can really help out in terms of navigating those areas, because they can be pretty dangerous and stuff. So definitely Alolan Ninetales would be super helpful in terms of navigating snowy areas. And then of course, if it's like the summer and everybody of course is super hot, I hate summer heat. So I would love for there a cold Pokemon, right? A nice Pokemon to be able to help cool me down, because I'd rather be colder than just hot. So that'd be super awesome. And then, of course, Ninetales can have like, or create rather, maybe some type of snow cone, if you will. Maybe we can like put snow everywhere and compact it, and we can make snow cones out of that. That'd be really dope. But lastly, when it comes to Ninetales, is the fact that it's a beautiful Pokemon by design. If you saw it in person, you would fall in love with this Pokemon. It's very like, just it looks good, right? But it has an ability or a move called Aurora Veil, which basically is, just puts light in the sky and your surroundings and stuff. And I feel like that would be just perfect for setting a mood or just lighting up some type of dark area. And, I just feel like that comes in super handy. But definitely all the other stuff I said, it's going to be the main focus when it comes down to Alolan Ninetales. It's really just helping with snowy areas. And if I'm ever dying from like a heat stroke, Alolan Ninetales will be able to help like cool me down or everybody else down. That'd be great. For Pokemon number 5, it's going to be Mightyena. Now, I really don't have too much to say about Mightyena. It is a dark type Pokemon, which I like to have at least one type of dark Pokemon. But Mightyena by design, I just really love. It's like a dog, hyena type thing. I mean, it is kind of in the name, but I really just like this Pokemon a lot. Now, in battling, it's going to be more dark move focused. But in terms of like outside of battling, this would definitely be the Pokemon similar to Flygon I would like to ride on. Maybe every once in a while, and it's kind of like a pet. I mean, again, like a dog hyena mix, it's really dope. But definitely, like I said with Flygon, it would be the Pokemon I would ride on, but it wouldn't necessarily be just for like getting to locations faster. It might be for, maybe jumping around in certain terrain, or just simply if I'm tired, I would love for that Pokemon to just, get on its back and just ride around. That simply is kind of the purpose that I have with Mightyena. I feel like it would definitely be good in terms of navigation and riding around. And I know he's not the fastest. There's definitely other Pokemon that you can ride that are much faster than him, but I still love Mightyena a lot. So I'm going to keep Mightyena as my number 5. For Pokemon number 6 is going to be Tentacruel. Now, Tentacruel, I decided was going to be on the team because I wanted a Pokemon on the team when we do battles to just sort of kind of, I don't know if I want to say surprise you, and I guess that is what Ledian is, but in terms of its aggression, right? So I wanted a Pokemon that would be really aggressive, and I decided it would go with Tentacruel. Tentacruel just seems like the Pokemon to me that even if you saw it out in the wild, it would just kind of aggressively go after you. So that's kind of really what I wanted it for. But outside of battling, this would definitely be like a travel companion type thing where, or I guess similar to Flygon and Mightyena, where if we're ever in a situation we're in water, I would definitely be riding on the head of the Pokemon, because I'm a pretty weak swimmer. I can't swim for that long. So in the world of Pokemon, if that stays the same, I would definitely love for this to be a Pokemon I can just get on its head, ride around, and then of course, let's say for some reason we do something like deep sea diving and we're picking up loot and treasures under the water. I would definitely love for a Pokemon to be able to grab everything and still be able to kind of swim and do its normal stuff. Not saying that other water Pokemon can't, but I know one of the ones I was considering for this spot, being Kingdra, more than likely cannot pick up a lot of stuff with just that little tail of it, right? So I decided Tentacruel would definitely be the better option, and it definitely fits more the theme of Pokemon that I really like, and we'll get to that by the end. Now for Pokemon number 7, we have Toxicroak. Now I went with Toxicroak because I feel like Toxicroak would really be like the muscle of the team, if you will, right? Like it would definitely be one of those Pokemon that's like you really don't want to mess with them because they're gonna mess you up, right? Like you got to be careful, like really careful with this Pokemon. So definitely Toxicroak for the most part really is a Pokemon I want, just in case I ever do any type of battling, and I want to make sure I'm picking a strong Pokemon to battle with. So that was more Toxicroak's purpose. Now to an extent, Toxicroak outside of battling can also really help out with navigating. I feel like if for some reason we were navigating through a cave and I don't know, a boulder comes out of nowhere and blocks our path, I feel like Toxicroak would somehow be able to break down that boulder to help us, continue to keep going through the cave and things like that. So definitely that's my mindset with Toxicroak. It's just the muscle of the team and really can use its muscle outside of battling to help us in any way possible. So for Pokemon number 8, we have Gliscor. Now Gliscor, similar to Toxicroak, is going to be the muscle of the team. It's pretty much just going to be really strong, scare and intimidate in the middle of battle, and basically just take down the enemy Pokemon. That's kind of it, really. It is a flying ground type, so I feel like it does have a good variety of moves and, not a lot many weaknesses, but the thing with Gliscor, right, again, same with Toxicroak, helping us get around, is I feel like with Gliscor, it would be very helpful in, nighttime or whenever it's a situation where you can't see. For example, again, going back into the caves, if for some reason we had a light or something like that and it goes out, I feel like Gliscor in some way would be able to kind of see in the dark and help us navigate. It would probably be kind of hard and difficult to navigate in the dark, but I feel like if we ever needed help seeing in the dark, Gliscor would definitely just be that Pokemon to help out. And again, it doesn't have to be just a dark cave. It could be anywhere. It could be even at night, like if we're, hard to see in like a forest or something, right? I feel like Gliscor would definitely be the Pokemon to help out in that situation, or even be like a bodyguard at night, you know? So that's kind of how I see Gliscor. The final Pokemon on the team is going to be Salazzle, preferably shiny. So Salazzle, in terms of battling, will just pretty much be our fire poison type, because that's what Salazzle is, a fire poison type. You know, it's wide range of moves, but that's not really where Salazzle shines in terms of this team. Salazzle, outside of battling, is going to be our sous chef. Basically, I'm like the head chef, right? Where I'm making sure everything's running smoothly. We're gonna make XYZ and whatnot. Salazzle will pretty much know like how to make them, and plus, not only that, the reason why I chose Salazzle is because I wanted a fire type Pokemon that wasn't just, hey, here's fire. And I looked at a lot of the fire type Pokemon and really didn't like a lot of them. So I felt like Salazzle fit the role a lot better, because Salazzle has hands, right? It can stand on its back legs and use its front for whatever. So definitely Salazzle has the ability to, you know, prep food and things like that. So definitely that's what I want. You know, maybe put a little poison in the food for flavor, but but that is what I want Salazzle for. Basically like a sous chef. And it matches really well as a shiny because it is white. And if you look at typically what chefs wear, you know, their traditional clothing, right? It's usually a white outfit. So definitely it matches. Just give Salazzle a chef's hat and we're gold. So that would basically be Salazzle's role, is just making sure, you know, while we cook or whatever, that Salazzle is the Pokemon that's helping to cook. It can start the fire, prepare the food. It could go do one thing with the food. I could do another thing with food, put them together, you know, that type of ordeal. So I really love that when it comes to Salazzle. So that is basically our Pokemon journey. I did my best really to give you guys a, you know, thorough explanation of why I picked everything, right? Like, I didn't want to be just that guy that says, oh, hey, I really like this, I really like that, so that's why I picked it. And I'm really hoping that a lot of you guys will maybe do the same, you know, try to give a little bit more explanation of why you picked the Pokemon. Because I could have easily just said, oh, I picked Toxtricity because he's my favorite, which is true. But I picked him because, again, there's a story behind it, right? Like, Toxtricity in games, for 2 games now, has been my ace Pokemon. Whenever things got rough, I could throw out Toxtricity, and it's always been getting me through these situations, right? You know, and then of course I gave it a reason outside of you know, battling, like how can I use these Pokemons? And you know, some of them are, I think, work really well than others for explaining that. Like, I feel like Flygon is pretty good, Salazzle is really good, Ledian is also really good, right? So you know, each Pokemon has a purpose outside of just battling, because it's just, to me, in my opinion, super easy to go, oh yeah, I'm gonna use this Pokemon for battling because it covers XYZ, and I'm gonna use this fire type Pokemon because it beats grass. And you know, it's super easy to just say that. I think it takes a little bit more effort to give a reasoning why you pick these Pokemon. Now, again, my Pokemon that I chose definitely would be in my top 50 favorite, but again, I wanted to pick Pokemon that have something more than just battling. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but some of the Pokemon are in theme of the Pokemon that I like. If you guys didn't know, I love poison Pokemon, and 4 out of the 9 Pokemon on this list are poison types, right? We have Toxicroak, Salazzle, Toxtricity, and Tentacruel, right? Those are the 4 poison types on the team that just are really one of my favorites of all time, right? But again, still keeping in theme, because I'm always known for having a poison Pokemon or a Pokemon with poison moves, and that really reflects that, right? Like, they're not just, hey, you know, we're this, but we're also still in theme of what matches Neo, right? So hopefully this all made sense for you guys. I'm really hoping you guys will consider maybe doing your own. Typically at the end of this, you're supposed to give a shout out, but you know, make 5 other people do it. But I don't really know 5 other people that will make a video on it. So maybe we could just have you guys write it in the comment section. Let us know, what Hay region would you come from? What's your profession? What's your goal? Do you have any rivals and companions? And what would your Pokemon team be? Definitely let me know. With that said, as always, everybody, please stay kind, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, everyone.